And then you devolve from, say, this being a dance tune in the early 80s because of Rick James. You get this. You get that. That sonically is a whole different world. That's a dance tune. The way the song builds, and when we go on Patreon, we're going to really play it on Patreon. The way the song builds and the feeling of it, that's a big departure when you hear this.
Peace up, A-Town down. She's saying, come get me. Come get me.
So when it now comes into this,
Need you, and I'm down for you always. But the new me is really still the real me.
he's not even having to push any emotion out. It's just it's a tune that's done with auto-tune, and that shit went to the top. Y'all see how far we had to devolve to get to accept Drake? It's a different world. So not only did all the music have to devolve, you had all of the record companies that were bought in the meantime that were pushing neo soul and soul music and good black music in the 90s and the 2000s. All them hoes got bought up. And all them artists got shelved, pushed to the side, released from their contract. You see how they had to really lower the quality of the music. But I liken it to this. Music done right, that's a fine steakhouse. Well, what happens when you expose a generation that's under 40 and they've only rarely, if never, been to a steakhouse, and the only thing you've given them, fat niggas like me, McDonald's, and you condition to McDonald's and Burger King. Can you appreciate that steak from Steak 48? Can you truly appreciate it? And then what if the propaganda on top of that is saying, look how much steak, look how many burgers McDonald's is selling. Man, look at McDonald's. All these goddamn burgers, they selling more burgers than anybody. What you mean McDonald's ain't the best? Look how many burgers McDonald's is selling. But if you know better, you like, yeah, because it's cheap, easy, and fast. Of course. It's one on every fucking corner. Like Starbucks. Starbucks ain't the best goddamn coffee, but it's one on every intersection. So when you do things, so when you do things like put that stuff out there, let me see. There we go. So when every hour you got one person playing and nobody else of substance and quality, is Drake followed by Future. More McDonald's music. Future, just straight up McDonald's music. You know? followed by the next McDonald's artist, and then you make the argument based on sales, not on substance. McDonald's is gonna win all fucking day. But you can't take people straight from Steak 48, straight from Morton's. You can't take people straight from Morton's, straight from Lori's Prime Rib to McDonald's. You got to ease them on down over a protracted 40, 50-year period. Generationally. Bring up new generations. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. I remember growing up in the 90s. I taught myself, this is how I knew, and this is where my point of view comes from. My point of view comes from, I taught myself how to play the drums. And I remember this is the first song I learned when this dropped. I love this song.
And I don't know why your girl keeps paging me to tell me that she needs me, cries when she leaves me.
That was the first song I learned on the drums. Appreciate the Cash App, Spirit, McCoy. Appreciate the Cash App, Sean. Much appreciated. And y'all can bless me right here, $ Dewan B1. That was the first song as a self-taught drummer I learned. My brother had just moved, brought his drum set in, and I brought it down, and I picked up a pair of sticks. And my first time picking up a pair of sticks, not my first time, I played with sticks before. My first time actually sitting on a drum set, playing a song, was to that song right there, I Get Around. And within 30 minutes, I just kept looping that song. I had it on tape. I kept looping it. And within 30 minutes, I got it down. I was like, okay, that was easy. That was easy. And so I would listen to 92.3 The Beat. And I would play, because that's all I listened to at the time. I was 12, 13. And everything rap was easy. Everything, not just rap, R&B at that time too, 93. You know, everything was just easy on the drums. Like, you know, I remember this song, another song that I was playing on the drums.
Man, let me hit that, man.
I'm like, no matter what the season, forever chill with Smith. I sit my fifth, I chill with West and got my reason.
That song came out, and that was my shit. That was my shit. It still is my shit. I love that song. But I picked that song up right away. Then my daddy came in, my father. My father came into the garage, heard me playing. And my father turned into the old school station, 103.9 KACE. If you're from LA, you know that station. And right when my father turned to that station, this song came on. Shoot, shoot, shoot. I was like, yo! Hey, what was that? What was that? For you young niggas, this was before streaming. You couldn't, this is the radio. You couldn't. I was like, yo, what the fuck was, I didn't cuss because I was with my dad. But I was like, what was that? I was like 13 years old. And I waited, and I kept the old school station on. I'm like, I'm gonna keep this station on until I've learned how to play that fucking song. And I had tapes that was right, I had like a radio deck that was right next to my drum set. And I had blank tapes. I had my dad give me a whole bunch of blank tapes. Matter of fact, I'll pick up cans and shit. Cause my dad wasn't buying me shit outside of my birthday and Christmas. So I would pick up cans and shit and buy tapes to record from the old school station. You feel me? So this is how my love for the music really came in. And then I heard this other song that came on the old school station next. I heard Steve Arrington, and you heard those hi-hat inflections. The new music wasn't doing that on the drums. It just had the drummer just playing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. That's what all the 90s music was doing. Then I would go back to the music of my dad's music, and they was doing this. I'm like, yo. Then you got the old school. Then I heard this one.
Whoa, Pop, what you got?
I'm like, nah, fuck all this new music. I gotta listen to that shit. Cause I wanna be a good drummer one day, and I'm not gonna be a good drummer listening to Tupac. Love Tupac, but that ain't gonna take me nowhere as a drummer. And then, man, at church, my music director at church turned me on to this. I said, hold on. We dealing with two different worlds. I used to talk shit to my dad like, man, daddy, I ain't listening to your old music. I'm listening to Color Me Bad. Shit. That's what I was saying in 91. Man, Pops, I don't want to hear that old Earth and Fire. Man, I'm a listen to some new shit. I'm listening to some goddamn Reby Jackson. I don't know. Shit. I ain't listening. I want to listen to my dad's music. I was not trying to listen to my dad's music at all. But then I heard this. Hey, Pops, I want to learn how to play that. And so me personally, my observations on this come in real time. So a lot of what I say, yes, I can point you to books. Yes, I can point you to books. But most of what I say comes from lived experience as a musician. Learning how to play the drums in the 90s and knowing and seeing in real time, hold on, there's something wrong. Why is it that all the music that I'm playing in band, like we be at church, well, not church, we be in school for the jazz band and the marching band, and every fucking thing we play in band, I'm picking up like this. Like, why is it that, and I'm only a year or two on the drums. And then I would go to church and play, and all the musicians at church, well, you know, they made you, at church, you had to be good. So I remember asking one of the musicians at church, like my dad got me into the funk, what's some other music to be listened to outside of the funk to make me a good drummer? And then he dropped this one on me. You hear that pocket? Whoa! I was like, nigga, that pocket? Wait, nigga, what? Steve Gadd on drums.